So guys, if you think I normally talk fast when I do these video reports, you ain't seen nothing yet because it's 1:45 Eastern time. I've got to be out of the house at 2 o'clock Eastern time for an appointment at 2:30 Eastern time, and I've got a 30-minute drive. So we are going to motor through this baby. And I've got a couple of complimentary plays in college football as the official start of week number 1 really gets underway tonight with a plethora of games. Listen, the big news today, as I noted on Saturday's video report, and I'm going to note today through Sunday as well. This is the time that I reward you, the loyal patrons that have been here throughout the summer for your patronage. With the biggest discount of the entire season, you can save 30% off your total purchase price by using coupon code 30%, 30PERCENT, sing after me, 30%. That is a mix and match coupon, good for any combination of picks and or packages. The only stipulation is you've got to put everything in your shopping cart at one time to maximize your savings. Now, if you are already in the midst of a package with a particular handicapper, you can use it to extend your package. And if you have any instant rebates, they are applicable as well. And you can always contact customer service if you have any questions. Now, I use this 30% coupon, which is the biggest single discount of the entire season, twice a year. At the very beginning of the baseball season, well, actually at the end of the NBA playoffs, right around the beginning of June, and right now. And I do it now, before the start of the NFL regular season, when so many of the customers come back to reward those of you that have been here throughout the summer, because you, like me, are the diehard gamblers that are there throughout the dog days of summer. The guys that realize how easy it is to make money in baseball. But as I often say, if you took a big pie when it came to the gambling universe, 100% are playing football. About 85% are still betting and gambling throughout the March Madness tournament. But then by the time you get to the NBA playoffs, and especially May, June, only about 25 to 30% of that betting universe are still gambling. And when you get to baseball, we're talking maybe 10, 12, 15%. Why? I don't know, because I think it's foolish, because I just showed you again, turning a profit for the 15th time in the past 18 years here on this site in baseball. And my God, I've been betting baseball long before I was in this business. How easy it is to make money in baseball, and how wonderful it is to start a football season with money in your pocket from somebody else, i.e. your bookmaker. Yet, so many guys don't gamble on baseball. So many handicappers want to take the summer off. They're morons, those guys in this industry that take the summer off because they'd rather go fishing. And gamblers that don't want to play baseball, I understand. It's a chore. It's a day in, day out thing. But how easy it is to make money. So I reward those of you that have been here all these months with the biggest single discount of the year. So again, 30% off your total purchase price by using coupon code 30%. Now, if you followed me over the years, I'm going to tell you something that you've heard me say many, many times. The start of any season, no matter the sport, it's the only time we have the advantage over the odds makers, because they don't know anything more about these teams or players than you or I. Because they're going to do the same research that I am, that maybe you are, and then they're going to make a line. And these numbers are going to be soft. Now, ultimately, after 1, 2, maybe 3 games, they're going to catch up, and it's going to be a level playing field, but this is when we capitalize. Look, last Saturday, did I not give you a free winner with Hawaii, a 10.5-point underdog winning outright over Arizona? That's just a bizarre example of how off these lines can be early in the season. But again, all they've done is read about what teams look like coming out of their summer camps. All they do is analyze what the coaches say and what the players have said and what the stats say, and they set a line. It's an arbitrary number. But they haven't seen these teams play, and neither you have, or I have, or the odds makers have, and that's why the numbers are soft, and that's why they capitalize, or we capitalize, and it happens every sport and every season. Now, you can get all the promos, etc. over on the homepage. As for me, after winning for the 4th time in 5 days yesterday with another raised to bar 20-dime winner with the Astros on the run line, all those plays you got is the half price play of the day. Today, my half price play of the day, again, is going to be my top rated 15-dime college football winner, number 4 in a row. Yes, 4 in a row going back to last season, with the last one, of course, being Clemson, crushing Alabama in the national title game. It's Cincinnati UCLA at 7 o'clock Eastern time. You get it for half price by using coupon code RAISE. Oh, I'm sorry, kickoff. At least it would help if I gave you the right coupon code. That gets you for half price. All your other discounts and promos are over on the homepage. Let's talk about two games that are entwined tonight. Clemson hosting Georgia Tech. Texas A&M hosting Texas State. I say entwined because next weekend they play in Death Valley. And you have two monstrous lines in these games. Clemson, a team that is rebuilding defensively with only 4 starters back, replacing their entire front 4 who all went into the NFL draft. But listen, it's not like Clemson, the cupboard is bare, because they're just going to restock with some of the best talent that America's college football has to offer. I mean, it's not like Dabo is going to go and, geez, who am I going to play along the front line? I don't have anybody left. I mean, the backups for Clemson are tremendous. They're going to have a little talent left. Now, the question that you have to ask yourself here are this particular game, and even the Texas A&M game, are these games going to look like preseason football games in the second half? Because you have to assume that the hosts, Texas A&M and Clemson, are going to take large leads. Then are they going to turn to backups? That's the question I have for you in these games. And that's the biggest thing, because when I look at Clemson laying 37 points here tonight against Georgia Tech, a Georgia Tech team that has so many things going against them, a roster full of freshmen and second-year players, a roster that is being reshaped because the team is being reshaped. Remember, Jeff Collins, they hired him from Temple to replace Paul Johnson. He scrapped the triple option attack. He's going to a spread offense. He doesn't have an experienced quarterback to run it. The defense, they're changing from a 4-3 to a 4-2-5. They also are replacing their entire front line. So this is a green team going into Death Valley, taking on a Clemson team that's won 15 straight games, the defending national champions. Yeah. National TV? Yeah, that's kind of tough. And you have a Clemson team that may be inexperienced on defense, but on offense, oh yeah, they're still damn tough, because they've got Trevor Lawrence back. All he did last year as a freshman, 30 touchdown passes, 4 interceptions, and over 3,200 yards. They still have Travis Etienne back at running back. All he did was average a little over 8 yards a carry and score 24 touchdowns. They still have their top 3 wide receivers back. But am I willing to lay the 34 points? Boy, you know, they only won 2 games by that big of a margin a year ago. I think the wiser way to play this game, rather than sitting there and watching maybe Georgia Tech coming back for a backdoor cover, is go ahead and lay 24 points in the first half. So that's the way I would personally play that game. And then in terms of the Texas A&M game, a game where you have Texas A&M about a 33.5 point favorite at home. They're about 21 points in the first half. I would do the same thing. If I'm going to play that game, I'm playing Texas A&M in the first half in that contest, because you've got a Texas State team, new coach who was once the offensive coordinator and quarterback coach in 2014 and 15 for the Aggies. Bobcats have 19 starters back, but they weren't any good last year or the year before. So as I always like to say, big deal. What are you going to do? Coach them up? I just don't buy into that. You're not going to take bad teams with a lot of returning starters and coach them up and make them good all of a sudden. This was a team that was 121st in scoring last year and only averaging 19.8 points a game. The problem that I have with Texas A&M, however, is that offensively they've got Kellen Mond back at quarterback, and he was to me, an average quarterback last year. 57% completions, 3,100 yards, ran for almost 500 yards, but he was so damn inconsistent. They lost their leading rusher, who led the SEC in rushing last year, Travion Williams. They've got a sophomore back, Jashawn Corbin, who leads a very talented but unproven stable running back. So I don't know how Jimbo Fisher's offense is going to do here tonight. So their defense also, which was so strong last year, leading the nation in terms of run defense, actually number 3 in the nation of run defense, only holding opponents to about 95 yards a game. They're replacing most of their front 7. So I don't know how they're going to perform, and they obviously are going to have their eye cast forward to next week's visit to Death Valley. So would I play the game? No. The way I would play it if I was forced to play it, I would go ahead and play them in the first half if I was. But of the two games, I think Clemson in the first half is the game that I would definitely play. The other interesting game, I think, is Florida International plus the 3 points at Tulane. Butch Davis's Panthers, 16 starters back, including their senior quarterback, James Morgan, who has 8 other offensive starters back. This is a team that scored a Conference USA high 34.6 points a game last year, with Morgan completing 65% of his passes, over 2,700 yards, 26 touchdowns. He has 7 of his top 8 receivers back as well. Tulane is going to look to run the ball with a ground attack that averaged 220 yards a game last year. Florida International's defense, 25.2 points per game they yielded last year. No pass rush whatsoever, only 22 sacks last year. Their run defense was like a sieve, though, however, gave them 192 yards. But this is a team, Florida International, 10-3 against the spread last year, 4-0 as a dog, 8-0 ATS on the road, 5-0 ATS out of Conference USA. So I think Florida International is a pretty decent play, plus the 3 points, and I would obviously buy up the half point. But again, my top play would be Clemson minus the points in the first half. My second play, I'd lean toward Florida International. That'll do it. Wish you well. Talk to you again tomorrow.